It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Minnesota Golden Gophers head gymnastic coach, Coach Jenny Hansen. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you.
Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in your college coaching career?
Well, from a young age, I'd always enjoyed coaching. I actually started when I was about 12 or 13 as a young gymnast, coaching in the club that I was at and helping as a demonstrator and so forth. And so I knew I really liked to coach. And then once I got to college, I knew that was the area I wanted to coach. I just was having so much fun and such a great experience being a member of the team. And I realized pretty early my first year there, I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do. I really love coaching and I love the college atmosphere.
What was your collegiate time as a student athlete at the Minnesota Golden Gophers as a gymnastics?
I tell our student athletes all the time, but I really believe it was the best experience doing gymnastics that I ever could have asked for. It's just incredible to be part of a team where you're surrounded with other young women your age who've gone through exactly what you've gone through. And you're all striving for the same goals together. I mean, there's no other time in your life where you get to experience something like that. And so I felt really fortunate. I had a wonderful experience, as did my teammates, and we felt so blessed to be able to be part of something as special as we were.
What was that feeling like of putting on that Golden Gophers leotard?
It's really special, being able to represent your university and do it with your team. And knowing all of the women that have come before you and have got to be able to do the same thing as you, it is a really special opportunity to be able to do that.
What was it like serving as the captain your senior year?
It was an honor to be selected by my team, knowing they had the confidence in me to be able to lead them if we needed that. We were surrounded by great leaders already, but be able to be that voice for the team really meant a lot.
Of course, what were some of your accomplishments during your time as a college athlete?
We as a team qualified to the national championships, which was definitely a highlight of our career. So that was pretty special. For me, I think I was all Big Ten one year. I can't remember which year. But additionally, just for me really was getting better. My senior year, I competed vault. I learned a brand new vault. They brought the horse back or the table back or table for the first time, which really dates myself. But that was the first year they had used the table in college gymnastics was my senior year in college. And so I learned a brand new vault and competed it. And that was pretty impressive for the work it took to get there. And it meant a lot for me to be able to do that in college, my senior year. So I was really proud of that throughout my college career, but that's a highlight for sure.
What was it like getting started in your coaching career, starting off at your alma mater of Minnesota as a student athlete coach?
I think it was a great experience for me because I was able to kind of shift gears, and yet I was still close with the young women on the team. A lot of them were my friends, my best friends. But then I got a chance to sit on the other side of it and learn from this and see things in a very different way. So it was a really great experience for me to be able to do that. And I feel very fortunate that I had that experience.
What was that transition like of still being able to coach some of your teammates that were your friends, but still have that coach mentality?
I think it's always challenging whenever you're trying to make that transition. I think my teammates, I think they trusted me enough to be able to help them in certain areas. And I will say, I think our coaching staff at the time really gave us roles in which that was allowed to happen. Different things in which your teammates would trust you, and yet you had the experience to be able to help them in a different way. So I think it was pretty special, but I think that's always a challenge, making that transition, especially within your own program.
What was it like leaving your alma mater to go to Illinois Fighting Irish?
It was really, I was very much looking for the opportunity to take that next leap. And I had known the Illinois coach for many years, who was actually from where I was from. So we had a prior connection there. And so I think I was ready to take that jump, ready to take that leap. And it was a great experience for me, being thrown into a totally new environment where I really didn't know very many people, and, taking on additional responsibilities. So I'm very thankful for that opportunity. I think I really learned a lot while I was down there.
What was it like coming back to your alma mater after your time at Illinois?
I was thrilled, to be honest. Minnesota's home, and, being able to come back to your alma mater just means so much. And to be honest, my friends, I had just gotten engaged, so my fiance was here. So it was like perfect timing in being able to come back and be a part of a program that meant so much to you.
How did it feel when you came back to become the head coach of your alma mater?
I will say it was always kind of a dream. I love this program, and I knew at some point, maybe that might become a reality. I didn't know when, and I certainly wasn't expecting it at the time. But I feel really blessed to be able to continue the work that had been done prior, and hopefully continue to build off of that. But this really is a really special place to me, and I feel honored to be able to lead that program.
What was it like coming back and building the culture from what it was when you were a player to now what it is as a coach and leaving your legacy?
Well, I think when you take on a new role, you really kind of have to find your own way, find your path. And I think I was really fortunate to hire great coaches who brought in a lot of different ideas and ways of doing things. So we were able to come up with what worked for us, and it was different in some ways than what we had, than what was there before, but there was a lot of really similar qualities that we tried to continue, but we worked together to find that culture that we all identified with and that we all believed in. And it's been really wonderful because we've been able to build it together, because this is our 8th year now as a coaching staff, which is kind of unheard of in the world of college gymnastics coaching. I think we're only one of 2 programs in the top 15 that have been together as long as we have. So it's allowed us to build something really special, and something we all really believe in.
Can you talk about, of course, what it's like building that culture as a head coach?
Well, I think the first 2 years were really important for us, because we needed to do a lot of brainstorming as a staff to figure out who we wanted to be, who we wanted to people to how they wanted to see us, and then we had to get the athletes to believe in it, which the first few years I was a little challenging. We had some athletes that weren't quite sure that was the path they wanted to go, or but the more we kept talking about it, the more they believed in what our vision was for the program. And every year since, we feel like we've been able to continue to move forward and take steps forward. The athletes coming in already know what to expect. Our leaders are teaching them from the moment they walk on campus. And so we've been able to continue what we're doing, but also keep building each and every year, which I think is really important. We want to continue to build our culture. It's certainly in a different place than it was 8 years ago, and it's a different place than it was 4 years ago. So we really are working to continue to build off that progress each and every year.
What was the 2016 season like and the 2019 season like going to the NCA Championship?
Well, in 2016, it was a really special year. We had a really important senior class there that had won a Big Ten championship their freshman year and been to nationals. So for them to be able to finish their career with the same experience was pretty awesome. So they had won that regular season, and then we had gone to the national championship. So that was huge for our program. And then this last year, our team was able to do the same and win a Big Ten championship and make it to the national championships. And those were our goals from the beginning of the year. And last year was, full of challenges, but our team really never strayed from where they wanted to go. And I think knowing what we accomplished, given all of the challenges, it was just that much more special.
Can you talk about, of course, as head coach, what was it like building upon that championship culture that you had at Minnesota?
Well, every year is different with the leaders that you have. And, one of the things that we focus on is trying to train and build our leaders because we know usually your best leaders tend to be your upper class, but then they leave. And so you need to continue to build and train your next group coming up. So that's always a challenge. That's always something that we're working on, is continuing to train and build the next generation of leaders to see who's going to lead us moving forward. But then it's always, you can't keep things the same year to year. Even though things are going good, you still have to find ways to make it feel a little bit different and exciting for the team and change it up. And I'd say that can be challenging, especially when you feel like you have a system that works and you just want to stay with it. But you've got to find ways that keep the team excited and motivated and, looking forward to new challenges.
Who are some of the teams that you faced in your conference?
Well, we face everybody. So we'll face tonight's our first technical duel against Michigan, but we get to face all the teams throughout the season before we get to the Big Ten championships. So we're fortunate with the way our schedule is designed that we get to see everybody and have that competition before we even get to the championship part of the year.
What does a typical gymnastic meet look like?
Well, it's very exciting. So tonight it's about a 2-hour competition, but we're going to alternate our competitors. We put 6 athletes up on each event. We get to count 5 of those scores. It's very, very exciting for the crowd. We've been having our last competition, we set a regular season record with over 3,800 people in attendance, which was pretty awesome given the fact that we are still in a pandemic. So we are pretty excited about that. We're looking forward to having hopefully a similar crowd tonight. But it really is kind of like nonstop action from start to finish. So for the audience, it's really fun to watch. There's a lot of excitement, and these athletes are incredible. What they do is absolutely amazing. And it's a really a fun experience for our crowd.
What does the recruitment process look like for prospective student athletes looking to become college gymnastics?
Typically, the athletes that we are looking at are developing, the goal would be either level 10 or elite. That's the level at which we typically are recruiting from. At this point, if they're a freshman, sophomore in high school, it's important for them to be starting to do a lot of filming of their gymnastics, of their competitions, practices. I think it's important for them to start figuring out, which schools might be interested in, following the rankings, doing a little bit of research on their own. But we aren't allowed to have any contact with them until August 1st after their sophomore year in high school. We get to start having conversations with them on the phone starting June 15th after their sophomore year. So up until that point, it's a lot of hopefully them getting a chance to do some research before the college coaches get a chance to reach out.
What does the official visit look like for prospective student athletes? And then what advice would you give them going into college?
Well, they get 48 hours on campus. And to be honest, we kind of fill those 48 hours with as much as we can during their time here. We try to make it feel as much like they were actually here, a part of the team as possible. They're watching practices, they're meeting the most important people in the lives of our student athletes, whether it's the academic counselor, our athletic trainers. our administrators, people that they will have daily interactions with, we think is important for them to get a chance to meet, as well as spend as much time as possible with the team. They spend time with the coaches, but we feel like it's really important for them to get to know the team and the culture to see if they fit here. So it's really busy. It's really fun. They're typically very tired and exhausted when they leave. But it's a great experience. I think we're so grateful we get to do those again, because with COVID last year, the official visits were really put on hold and a lot of athletes weren't able to do those. So having those again this fall, I think was very important for everybody, and most importantly, the student athletes being able to do that. But in terms of advice, for those athletes coming into college, there's just so much to look forward to when they get here. I think there's a lot of things that will feel new, but also a lot that will be familiar, in the sense that hopefully gymnastics feels very much like what they've been doing in the past. School is a lot more challenging than what they're used to. And we always try to tell our freshmen coming in, kind of be ready. It's a lot more. And after they get through that first semester, they were like, you're right. It was way harder than I was ready for. But now they know what to expect. But they also have an incredible support system here. Much more so. They have the team, they have the coaches, so many resources here, which are just off the charts available to them, which I think really helps their transition and helps them succeed. So I think the resources that they have available to college are just tremendous.
That's great advice. Do you have any advice for college coaches looking to get started? And where can my listeners find you at on social media along with the program at?
College coaches to get started. I was fortunate to be able to start as a volunteer coach before I got into it. I think that's huge. If you can get your foot in the door, I think that's a great way to get started and really learn about the program, learn about what the expectations are for being a college coach. Gymnastics, being able to coach gymnastics is really, really important, but there's a whole nother side of it when it comes to recruiting and the administration pieces that you don't know until you're in it, really, how much is involved. So I think that's really important. We've got a fabulous volunteer coach with us this year. And I think it's just a great experience to really get behind the scenes and learn what it's all about, so that you're prepared, hopefully, when that opportunity exists for you. In terms of social media, I am on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram at Elfie Gym. But otherwise, I'm going to have Sadie help out with anything else through Gopher Sports, because I think anything there is probably much more informational than it is for me. I'm not huge on social media, I'm going to be honest, but I do typically post if it's team related. So usually I'll get out there every once in a while with some team information.
Thank you again, Coach Jenny Hansen, for your interview, and best of luck in your future as the head Minnesota Golden Gophers gymnastic coach.
Thank you.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Jenny Hansen, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Thank you very much.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.